Hey everyone, this is the KMN 1971 back with my end of the year video where I basically highlight my top pickups of the year and jibber jabber about the hobby pretty much. So, hope you all enjoy it. I'm going to try to rock it right through these because technically I have shown all these books off during the course of the year. Um, some people like to do a top 10, others do a top 20, top 25. I just like an excuse to show a lot of comics. So I tend to show my top 52 books, one book for every week of the year. So I think it's kind of a cool little, I guess, sample size of what I've collected throughout the year. And they're in pretty much order, too, especially once I get down to the top 10. So I hope you all enjoy it. Kicking it off, Runaways #1, first appearance of the Runaways. And this list will consist of a lot of, like, just some Bronze Age stuff, first appearances, and some of my favorite covers. Dark Horse presents #10, first appearance of The Mask. Master of Kung Fu #17, effectively the premiere issue of Master of Kung Fu. I am beyond psyched that Disney is going to be putting out a Shang-Chi movie for the big screen. Oh, I can't wait. Captain Marvel #34, an upgrade from my copy. Jim Starlin's Captain Marvel and Warlock runs from the 1970s are two of my all-time favorites, possibly top 10 runs of all time. G.I. Joe, don't ask me which volume, issue #2, the incredibly awesome Adam Hughes Baroness variant, one of my all-time favorite Adam Hughes covers. Star Wars #1, J. Scott Campbell cover. I must have like 3 or 4 different issues covers for Star Wars #1. But hey, I'm a Star Wars junkie, so it's to be expected. The Batman Adventures Holiday Special #1, early Harley Quinn appearance. Make a little room. American Vampire #1, Jim Lee variant. Venom #1, Gabriel Del Otto variant. Not the Virgin, but still my favorite all-time Venom cover. Beautiful stuff. Speaking of beautiful stuff, Wonder Woman #72, iconic Brian Boland cover. The Batman Adventures Annual #1, the 4th overall appearance of Harley Quinn. Ultimate Spider-Man #1. Always wanted this book, and I do think this is kind of like a modern iconic cover. Justice League of America #64, first appearance of the Red Tornado. DC Superstars #17, featuring the origin of the Huntress and also contested first appearance of the Huntress. The Amazing Spider-Man #124. I really did some good chopping away at my Bronze Age ASM list so far this year. Something that I'll definitely try to continue going forward in 2019. First appearance of the Man-Wolf. Sentimental favorite, I guess. I want to say that there was an animated version of this story way back in the day. Amazing Spider-Man 123. Throwdown with Luke Cage. Justice League of America #75. Another franchise where I did some good chopping away at some Silver Age issues that I wanted. So #75, this is where the Black Canary officially joins the Justice League. Shout out to Tom Ryan for showing this off in one of his videos earlier on in the year, reminding me that this was on my list. Heavy Metal #1 from Volume 1, April 1977. Those were the days. Not that I would remember, I was pretty young in 1977. 5 or 6. Mysterious Suspense #1, the first time that The Question headlined his own comic. Black Canary Oracle Birds of Prey #1, first appearance of the Birds of Prey per CGC. Captain Marvel #27. I picked this one up at the same time I picked up that Nitro issue, an upgrade from my copy. Very happy to pick it up. I ended up taking a lot of Hellboy off the list this year too, thankfully. So Hellboy, Seed of Destruction, #1. First time Hellboy had his own comic. G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, #21. First appearance of Storm Shadow, and the first little sampling of my 80s nostalgia buzz that I was writing all through 2018. Batman Adventures, #28. Third overall appearance of Harley Quinn. The Invincible Iron Man, #47. Iconic cover, and also the origin, the retelling of Iron Man's origin, illustrated by Barry Windsor Smith. ASM 149, first appearance of the Spider Clone, aka Ben Reilly. I picked up like 3 copies of this year, but I'll only show this one. Eternals, The Eternals, #3, first appearance of Cersei, and my spec book of the year. Captain Marvel, #18, the issue where it's retconned that Carol Danvers receives her powers. Hellboy, Seed of Destruction, #2, the first appearance of Liz, the BPRD, Abe Sapien, very undervalued. ASM #86, the first appearance of Black Widow in her black leather femme fatale outfit. Sweet. The one tie. I know it's cheating, but it is my countdown. I guess I can cheat a little bit. Avengers #69 and 70. This is supposed to be the first appearance of the Squadron Sinister, but I consider this to be the first appearance of the Squadron Sinister, and hence the first appearance of the characters that would morph into the Squadron Supreme. So, very cool. Hellboy, The Wild Hunt, Dark Horse 100 Special Edition. There are only 1,000 copies of this variant out there. Justice League of America, #22, which completes the first, well, I guess this is the second part of the first JLA, JSA crossover and the first Crisis in DC Universe history. Awesome. A couple of books that I just picked up in my last haul. Joker, #1. Just a great Bronze Age premiere issue, speaking of which. Black Panther, #1. Fantastic stuff, man. Black Panther done by Jack Kirby. Batman #291, which probably wouldn't be so high on the list, but this is like such a minty copy and such a beautiful cover. And a cool retro story, too. My all-time Jim Steranko cover. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., #4. Some more Silver Age goodness. Justice League of America, #29, the first appearance of the Crime Syndicate. Here's a book that I've wanted since I was like 12. Grendel, #1. A book that I have never actually seen in the wild. Next Men, #21, the first color appearance of Hellboy. Iron Man and Submariner, #1. It's one-shot special that predates Iron Man and Submariner, #1 of their solo series. Another book that I've wanted since I was like 12, well, between that, no, probably like 14 years old. Comico Primer, #2. Which would probably mean that I wanted Grendel #1 since I was like 14 too, now that I think about it. Anywho, Comico Primer #2, first appearance of Grendel. The Bronze Age has been, sparking like crazy for like past 5 years now, and sooner or later, the Copper Age will be the next age that people will really be clamoring for. At least that's my speculation anyway. Not this was like a cheap book to begin with, but anyway, Comico Primer #2. And Tales of Suspense, #59. The first time that Captain America ended up getting his own ongoing series since like the Golden Age. So ever since this issue, Captain America has basically been in continuous publication for Marvel Comics. So love that. All right, down to the top 10. Kicking it off with a book that I just showed last week. Can we get it a little tilted, I guess? There we go. Alright, so Dark Knight Returns, #1, Virgin Foil Edition, Signature Series, signed by Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. Big Frank Miller geek, huge Batman geek, all-time favorite story, all-time favorite single issue, and as far as this creative duo goes, I think it was their greatest work, so love having it. A book that I probably should have held off on, now with the cancellation of Iron Fist, and unfortunately Daredevil and Luke Cage, and most likely soon to be Jessica Jones and Punisher. But anyway, it was fun while it lasted. And like I said, even though Iron Fist wasn't a ratings juggernaut, it did have an audience out there, enough to generate a second season anyway. And now this little franchise has more exposure than it ever did before. So I really do think that Disney will do something with those franchises, hopefully down the sooner than later in the future. So, anywho, Marvel Premiere, #15, 6.5, CGC, first appearance of Iron Fist. And the last slab, X-Men #94, 5.5, CGC. And out of everything that I picked up this year, this is my proudest achievement, because this finished off my ultimate X-Men run of giant size X-Men, continuing to X-Men 94 all the way up to Uncanny X-Men #175. So happy as a collector, as a fan, to finally have that run completed. So that's it. Alright, so how many books do I have left here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. Moving on. Sorry for the delay. We have Caliber Presents #1. Yet again, a nice minty copy. First appearance of The Crow. The Crow, the original Crow movie is one of my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. Would love to see this get redone at some point. And yeah, that's all I can say about that. Blue Beetle #1 from Charlton Comics. First appearance of The Question, who is definitely in my top 25 favorite DC characters. Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, #1. Once again, like I said about Iron Fist, very sad to see this series go. But hopefully Disney will be smart and do something with this character. Love this issue. One of those books that I used to own as a kid, and it's always good to get those books back in the collection, the ones that you regret selling when you were younger and dumber. So, very cool. Another book that I just showed off in my last haul, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This is the third printing, and I guess this will be, I have to tap out after this. This will definitely be as close as I can get to a first printing, unless I, happen to find one at a yard sale by accident somehow. Which would be kind of tough because I never go to yard sales. Alright, down to the last three. Savage Tales #1. Gigantic Conan fan. This features the first appearance of the Man-Thing, but this is also probably the second most sought after Conan back issue out there. So very, very happy. This had been on my list for like 2 or 3 years, and super stoked to finally reel it into the collection. At a pretty good deal too. At #2, we have Captain America #100. Won't go on and on about this because I kind of geeked out about it last week. I'm just so psyched to finally add this into my collection. Now I just need 2 more issues from that Marvel Premiere series that ran from 1968. But Iron Man and Silver Surfer #1. Those books will not come cheap, if at all, so who knows. And my pick of the year, San Diego Comic-Con Comics #2, the first appearance of Hellboy. Only 1,500 copies in print. This is like a near mint copy, and love this character. Hellboy is something that I've just really started getting into this year, and I'm in that honeymoon point with the character right now because so far I haven't read anything less than spectacular stories featuring the character, so pretty happy about it. I know the latest trailer didn't spark a lot of interest, but Mike Mignola's involved with the project, so I'm holding out hope, and I'll definitely be there to see it, even though it's a busy month in next April. So that's all I have. I was going to go through the state of my pull list, but I don't want to make this video go on too long. So looking forward to next year's movies, looking forward to a lot of comics next year. Looking forward to the Conan relaunch at Marvel, as well as Guardians of the Galaxy from Donny Cates. I'm looking forward to that. Black Label, Greg Capullo, Steve, and Scott Snyder story. Also, definitely looking forward to Jeff Johns' 3 Joker stories under the Black Label also. That's just to name a few. So that's all I have for this year. I will see you all next year. Have a happy and safe New Year. And yeah, take care. See ya.